Good morning, students. So, students, in the last class, we started your eighth chapter, that is prepositions. Now, students, at first, before proceeding to the topic for today's discussion, at first, let us have a look at whatever we have discussed in the last class on this topic. So, at first, in the last class, I gave you a few examples on the preposition, and then I gave you the definition of prepositions, which tells us that preposition tell us about the relationship between the nouns and pronouns in a sentence. Prepositions are always followed by a noun or pronoun. And student, the prepositions mainly connect the nouns or pronouns to other words and often tell us where something is. And students, some of the commonly used prepositions in our day-to-day life are in, on, at, for, with, by, over, under, beside, between, before, behind, to, etc. So, my dear students, in the last class, we have discussed up to this, and then I gave you the answers of the exercises which are based on these few topics. So, after this, now let us proceed to our today's topic of discussion, that is, and confusing prepositions. So, what are the confusing prepositions? So, students, there are certain prepositions which whose meanings are almost similar. Okay, so that's why you may be confused about putting those kind of prepositions. Suppose above, over, below, under, between, among, etc. So, above, under, both means on top of something. Again, below, under, both means below, at a lower level. Okay, again, between and among, both means in between something. Okay, there may be two three things and we'll talk about only of one thing, like this. So these are confusing. If this kind of prepositions come, then you may confuse that what is the correct answer. So to eliminate this confusion among this kind of prepositions, we are going to discuss in detail about them today. So at first, to eliminate the confusion between above and over, let us see a few examples. So number one is, there is a small restaurant above the shop. And number two, couple climbed over the wall. So here you can see, in the first example we have used above, and in the second example we have used over. But why we have used two different preposition in these sentences? Both the thing here, restaurant and wall, they are just telling that these nouns are on top of something or a higher position, right? But still we have used two different preposition for this thing. So let me tell you, student, in the first example there is a small, here we have used above because you can see that here the restaurant is in a static position. There is no movement of this restaurant. But Kapil climbed over the wall. Here you can see Kapil is making a movement. Okay, here is a change in his movement, and this is called, that's why we have used above and over in these two sentences. Means above will be something which will be in static position, and over will say about a movement. So let me show you the uses of both the two. So students, above and over both suggest on top of or at a higher level, but over usually suggests a movement. So now let's go to the next two examples of next two confusing prepositions. Number 1, the bucket is kept below the counter. Number 2, your glasses must be under those papers. So here in the first sentence, the bucket noun, it is below. It is under the counter, okay? It is below the counter means it is covered by the counter. And again, glasses, it is under the paper, means it is covered by the papers. Means in both the cases, the nouns are suggesting that they are covered with another thing. But when we use under, we usually talk about something which is directly below or another thing. But in case of below, something is not directly under the under another thing, okay? So in case of number 1, the bucket is kept under the kept below the counter. Here it is not exactly covered, or it is not directly under something else, okay? So that's why we have used below. So let me show you the uses of these two now. We use under to talk about something directly below another thing, or to suggest that something is covered by another. On the other hand, we usually use below in sentences where something is not directly under something else. Okay, now let's proceed to the next two examples. Number 1, the kitten is sitting between the two children. And number 2, please distribute these biscuits among the children. Okay, so now let me show you the uses of between and among. So students, we use between when we speak of two things, and among when we speak of more than two things. Okay, so between means two and among means more than two. So I hope that you have cleared the confusion among all these prepositions, and now there is no doubt that where to put this below, under, then between, among all these things. Okay, so now students, let me show you a few exercises relating to this confusing prepositions. So here the first exercise come, which is number D, and here the question is, fill in the blanks with suitable prepositions from the box. Use each word only once. So you can see some prepositions are given in the box and we have to put them in the dashes. So 9 sentences are given. So let me show you the answers of these sentences. Number 1, my grandmother walked home from the market. Number 2, poured the custard over the walnut cake. Number 3, Meghna has a small scar just below her left eyebrow. Number 4, Raman dreamed that he was flying in the sky. 5, we could see dark clouds rolling in over. So the answer of number 2 is poured the custard over the walnut cake. Number 3, Meghna has a small scar just below her left eyebrow. 4, Raman dreamed that he was flying in the sky. 5, we could see dark clouds rolling in over the hills. 6, the puppy hid the ball under the pile of leaves. 7, Maharashtra lies between Madhya Pradesh and Karnataka. 8, I usually sit beside my friend Aisha in class. 9. Can you please carry this bag for me? Okay, now proceed to the next exercise, that is number E. And here the options are not given, and we have to put the correct prepositions from our own knowledge. So let me show you the answers. Number 1 is I will meet you near the gate. Number 2, Meher enjoys traveling on the metro. 3, these paintings are by a famous artist. 4, are you going to the concert this afternoon? 5, the squirrel hid the nuts inside the tree trunk. 6, Nina sat on the chair while Jane stood beside her. 7, draw a line across the paper. 8, the baby is asleep in her crib. 9, my wallet had fallen behind the sofa. And number 10, have you seen the banyan tree down the road? So these are the exercises relating to the prepositions. Now students, as today is Wednesday, so let me show you your handwriting class for today. Good morning students, and welcome to your handwriting classes once again, as this is Wednesday. So students, these 2 pages were given to you in the last handwriting classes, and now let's proceed to this page. So this next page, page number 16. So for this week, at first we will do this page as a homework. So write down here homework and today's date, that is 3/2/2021. And again page number 18, here also write down homework and today's date, that is 3/2/2021. So students, for this week you have these 2 pages, that is page number 16, 17, 18 and 19 as your homework for the handwriting class. So do your homework, okay? Thank you so much. So students, with your handwriting class today, let me finish my today's discussion. And student, today we have finished our 8th chapter, that is prepositions, and in the next class I'll do any one of the composition part. So as for now, this is the end of our today's class. Thank you so much for watching this video.